Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergog, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at what even happened to the legendary items the players have brought to the new world in Overlord. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel and say my thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's start with the topic at hand. The new world of Overlord has been visited time and time again by all sorts of players. Some probably died of old age, like the 4 human players who founded the slain theocracy 600 years ago. Others, like the Minotaur King, may have also grown too old, or found a different end, won in combat, with one of the Dragon Lords perhaps. And yet other players have fought each other to the bitter end, like the 8 Great Kings did, or the 2 players who were part of the 13 heroes 200 years ago. But this raises a question that has not been discussed. Namely, what actually happened to the equipment and all of the items that the players brought into the new world? Items like armors and swords are of course much more durable than frail human bodies. But magical items like the armor of the Paladins of the Holy Kingdom, for example, are also immune to normal damage, scratches, rust, or wear and tear. All you have to do to make them look new again is to wash and polish them thoroughly. In other words, environmental influences cannot harm these magical items, which naturally raises the question of what happened to all of the top-tier items that reached the new world. Especially when we are considering that players could just store a lot, and I'm talking a lot of items in their pocket dimensions, in their inventory for a lack of a better term. New magical items from Yggdrasil Online therefore should theoretically appear everywhere, right? Similar to the Valyrian steel swords from Game of Thrones, items from players should have enormous value in every society and be family heirlooms of the rich and the powerful houses. For example, the bow Nea received from Ainz Olgorn himself is a trash drop for Ainz, something that might be okay in the mid-game, but nothing that someone like Ainz or a normal level 100 player would actually use. But for Nea, this is a legendary weapon, an heirloom similar to Razor Edge, or the sword of Remedios Custodio, Salfarisia, or something that even surpasses it. It was a national treasure for her that must be preserved at all cost, one that she must defend with her life, and that she should not show to anybody ever. So if even such a trash drop has such a value in the eyes of the new world, there should be a plethora of such weapons in it. But precisely because they are so valuable, this is not the case. Firstly, even if hundreds of thousands of such items have made their way into the new world, it is difficult to take powerful items from a powerful being. For example, the world-class item of the unfortunate player who encountered Deep Darkness Dragonlord was taken by the Dragonlord from his cold, dead body. And of course, the Dragonlord not only received the world-class item, but the normal items of the player as well, and would also hoard them and guard them eagerly. Which means that all of these items that the players had were just taken in possession of one single creature, one that can defend itself and its horde quite well. And Olasir Dark Halil had done something similar, or at least he attempted to do so, when he asked Ainz to undress and hand over all of his valuable robes and items in exchange for his unlife. And he can count himself lucky that Shelter did not hear him. So, powerful dragons taking powerful and rare items of players and of other powerful creatures is not unheard of. It is pretty much the norm among dragons, as far as we can tell. The same would also likely apply to practically every other dragon, and other powerful creatures that manage to obtain, steal, or just find these exceedingly powerful treasures, they would guard them with their life. And so bit by bit, every conceivable item would be taken possession of by mighty beings. So while there still may be very much powerful items in the new world brought to by players, these weapons, these items would be eagerly guarded and hoarded and regarded as national treasures and locked deep away in secret vaults. They would be kept safe. And the normal person, a peasant or a normal worker in the city, would not dream that such weapons even existed in his world. We also know that there are indeed powerful items that have been passed down, because the armor of Azud-Eindra is his very own. It was neither given to him by Platinum nor by anybody else. But just like a certain piece of clothing from Chris the Thief Girl, it is essentially his own family heirloom. So it does happen that adventurers carry such powerful items, not because they were found by chance, but because they come from people who had already worn and used these items and want to pass them on. This is also how Gazev later came into possession of Platinum's Wild Magic Ring, and then Climb, and then Eins, simply because Regret passed it on, probably when she retired from adventuring. In other words, bearers of such artifacts naturally want to ensure that only the right people will eventually inherit and use them, and therefore they are not in general circulation. You can't buy them in shops or in magic guilds. You need to basically be a relative or a long-term adventurer, friend and loyal ally in order to gain enough trust with the bearer of the item to get it after his death, or as a rare treat, a token of favor, so to say. Additionally, Platinum obviously knows very well how powerful these legendary items can be, and after the 8 Great Kings tore themselves apart in their civil war, it was Platinum who seemingly took control of their guild base and all of these legendary items within them. Some of the items also ended up in the capital city of the 8 Great Kings, but the guardians of that city did not allow just anyone access to them. So far, only the members of the 13 heroes were allowed to take some of them from the city. And we also know that Fluda Paradane, who was already a powerful wizard at that time, was just turned away, much to his anger. And so the Black Knight, one of the 13 heroes, also acquired his own swords of darkness, one of which, Killenarium, is now in the possession of Lakius, the niece of Azud-Eindra, and fellow teammate of Evil Eye. Coincidence? I think not. In addition to this, the 6 players who founded the Theocracy simply left their items to their own country after they had died. That means both their world item, Downfall of Castle and Country, as well as all of the other powerful items, are part of the Treasure Vault, deep in the inner sanctum of the slain Theocracy, which until recently was guarded by Zeshi Zetsumai, and the entire Black Scripture is clad head to toe in these players' armor and wield their items. For example, the scythe Zeshi wields was used by Sushana himself. And that's also why the Astrologue of the 1,000 Miles also has an outfit that makes her look like she belongs in a Persona game and not in a medieval fantasy world. And so it could happen with many other powerful players. They created powerful kingdoms that would eagerly guard and hoard all of the treasures that their king have left behind, as well as add any other powerful item to the stash, just because they can. And so, the modern Goblin Kingdom could have still inherited and perhaps used the Ashen Branch of the World Tree Yggdrasil, likely a world item in and of itself, just like the Theocracy still uses Downfall of Castle and Country to this very day. And the axe of the Minotaur King could still be wielded by one of his own descendants today. And even the Elf King, the son of one of the 8 great kings, had enough Yggdrasil items that he could not only give many of them to his children, but also block time magic and mind control from Ein Soul Gone. Something vital when facing and dueling him. In other words, even if many of these items have made their way into the new world, they are not just out there, waiting for a finder. They are either guarded and protected by the descendants of their former owners, by the enemies of their former owners who defeated the former owners, passed down through generations to worthy bearers, or still are within huge vaults of the players or of the nations that the players have built, and so they are still guarded, and the normal population of the new world can't just access or buy these world-class items or just regular Yggdrasil items from any vendor. And of course, the dragon sought everything rare, actively taking more and more of these items out of circulation. And finally, it must also be said that new players enter the new world just every 100 years. In other words, Eins arrived at a time when the powerful beings of the new world had 100 years to acquire all sorts of Yggdrasil items still out there. And therefore Eins is more of a new source for these items from Yggdrasil, such as Nea's bow or the healing potion that Eins gave to Britta. Then he is going to find masses of items from other players. And with that said, now it's your turn. What are your thoughts about the lost items of the players, and of course about the video itself? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Order Daddy Order, ASK, Bad Guy Yee, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Din Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Hat, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Le Louche Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Cune Karakos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rak Edsmeshar, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenukai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.